Hey everybody, this is another episode of TJ's Garage. Now that I'm retired, I have a lot of time to make these videos and I got a lot of time to do all these projects that I had planned. So about a year ago, I put on this B&M cast aluminum transmission pan. Okay, it accommodates 2 extra quarts of fluid, trans fluid, and it has cooling fins, and it's supposed to be better for the truck as far as towing capacity, efficiency, and cooling of the trans fluid in case you don't have a trans cooler, or even if you do have a trans cooler. This just adds to it. And you can see here, this is the kit. Kit comes with all the bolts. It does not come with the gasket, the trans filter, and the fluid, obviously, but this is basically the kit. You're going to take your magnet from your old trans pan, comes with the bolt, you put in here. Make sure you use the spacer and the lock washer. It also comes with a plug here in case you decide to put in an actual trans cooling gauge. It'll accommodate that. And here is your actual plug right here. So instead of dropping your pan to change the fluid, which most cars you have to do, you could just pop the plug out, and the plug actually is an additional magnet. If you look in here, you can see that the plug itself has an actual magnet. So you're getting an additional magnet to retrieve any shavings that should come off your transmission. So the whole reason I'm doing this is because after I replaced this a year ago, I noticed the puddle of oil right here on the floor. Everywhere I went, there was a puddle of oil. Couldn't figure it out. Kept spraying it off with brake cleaner to figure it out. And when I looked at this trans pan, if you look really closely, I will show you, there is an actual blemish right here. If you see that little pock mark, there's an actual blemish in the cast. And that's where it was dripping from. Now, if you flip the pan over and look inside here, everybody wants to say, well, it's because you didn't use the spacers for the magnet and it pushed through the cast. Well, that's not true. Okay, I used the spacers. If you do your measurement and flip the pan over, it's not even lined up with that hole. So that little cast caused the leak. I went online to figure out how to get that extra inch of clearance you need to put this pan on. Okay, a lot of guys say jack this up, jack that up. Well, I found if you come and look underneath, down here, my camera person will show you, I took the exhaust off of all 3 hangers, all the way, actually 4 hangers, all the way to the front of the flex pipe. Now, if you go to the front, underneath, by the trans pan, you will see, I will show you, what I did was, I removed the 2 bolts right here for the trans mount, okay, jacked up the 4-wheel drive portion of the transmission to get the extra clearance. As you can see here, all the mounts are disconnected, okay? And then what I did was over here where this orange strap is, strapped it to the floor jack, which is pushing up the frame, ratcheted the cross pipe down to get that extra inch of clearance you need to drop the pan down to get underneath this last sensor. Once you do that, you'll get your clearance. The pan should slide right out. And if the camera could stay right there, I will show you where your trans filter goes. Okay. The trans filter will come with an O-ring. Actually, it's not an O-ring, it's a gasket, like a plug for your filter, and that is up inside the transmission. And what you do is you take a pick or a screwdriver and pry it out. This is what you're looking for. You can't miss it. All right, it takes a second to get it out because you have to pry it out because you have to pound it in with the hammer in the first place. All right, almost out. There you go. So there it is. This is what we just took out. I know all you guys are probably saying, holy crap, the truck's going to fall on himself, but it's not going to fall. All right, so here's our O-ring or our plug, and that receives the filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in now, put it back in where it belongs, and I'm going to go get the filter, show you how that sets. And like I said, this, you leave tension on it until you can get that transpan back in, and it'll give you that extra inch between this cross pipe and this sensor right here. So what I normally do is I will take a socket the same size as the plug. Let me grab the socket. I will show you. 1 second. Cameraman, stay there. Okay, so coming back. And here is your filter. Here's your O-ring. It's metal and rubber, and this is how it's going to sit. This is the purpose of it. But if we look back underneath, I'll show you how to drive it in safely without having it off kilter or crooked, so it makes a perfect seal so you get the trans fluid going through the filter. So if you come back underneath by the trans, and if you look right here, here's your plug, here's a socket. Put it up inside the trans. Give it a little push to seat it. Take your hammer. And that's it. Then you're going to put your trans filter in. It's going to sit just like this. It's going to lock inside of that filter and your O-ring, and that's it. You're set. Then you're going to take your pan, slide it up and over the cross pipe, seat all your screws in a staggered pattern, left to right, front to back, 3 and 6, 6 and 9, 9 and 12, 2 and 4, and stagger the tightening pattern around, and you should be set. Then slightly release the tension. Cross pipe will go back up, and put all your hangers back on your exhaust. And the little tip is spray the exhaust hangers, which are rubber, with WD-40, and you'll be set. So that's it. If there's any questions, this whole situation right here took maybe a half hour. It shouldn't take all day. It's very simple, but the strap and removing the hangers from the exhaust is going to make all the difference. All you need is an extra inch of clearance. If you don't do this, you're going to be banging your head against the wall, and you're never going to get your trans pan off because you need that much, literally that much, to get the pan off. Okay? And that's about it for now. Thanks.